Who are the most searched people on Yahoo? And what are the top news stories? We have Yahoo's top 10 lists for 2008.
We'll be right back with more about the most commonly searched person and things on Yahoo this year. You're watching The Early Show on CBS.
The end of 2008 is nearly upon us. So this morning, Yahoo's annual year in review. Heather Cabot is Yahoo Web Life Editor, and she's with us this morning. What does that mean exactly?
I'm kind of the digital trends expert for Yahoo.
Wow.
I have a really, really fun job. I used to be a journalist, and now I spend my time looking into all of the interesting behavioral trends we see as our lives continually to move on to the web.
Okay, so you have your annual year in review list. How do you come up with the results?
Okay, in short, 550 million people come to Yahoo every month. A lot of them are doing searches for people and issues and news stories that they are interested in. We take a look at those billions of searches and we tease out the trends. We look at what the trends of the year are, and that's how we come up with these lists.
550 million hits a month. That's a bunch.
Yes.
Okay, your search provided some interesting findings in the top 10 searches of the year. Let's go right to it. Here are the 10 through. We're going to go all the way up to the top. American Idol makes sense. Angelina Jolie makes sense. Anything? What's Naruto?
Naruto is an animated character that originated in Japan.
It's anime, right?
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
I knew that.
Now, I will say American Idol is kind of interesting. It hasn't been on the top search list in a couple of years.
Right.
And the ratings have been down this year for the show. We think that it's on the list this year because people still want to be in the know. They're not watching the show so much.
So they just
check to see who won.
All right, let's go to the next group. What is RuneScape? That's a game, right?
Yes, the largest free online gaming site in the world.
Miley Cyrus, that makes sense. Barack Obama makes sense. Look at that number 2. It's WWE.
Behind the wrestling, right?
So the #1 overall search on Yahoo is
Britney Spears. Now, I must say this is not is this a surprise to you?
No.
Okay, but it's not a surprise to us because she has been the top searched person on Yahoo 7 out of the last 8 years that we've even looked at these trends.
Really?
Yes.
It's a trend, somebody who pulls trends apart and looks, how do you account, what do you think it is about her that make people go to the internet time after time after time?
I think it's the fact that this is a person who has lived her private life in public. We feel like we know her.
We've seen her grow up.
We have. I mean, she's turning 27 this week. I mean, think of everything that she's gone through.
Yeah.
The good thing is that I think in terms of the searches we've seen about her this past year is it went from her personal life and the trials and tribulations and some of the really disturbing things that have happened to her.
Seems
The
like
hospital
she's getting it back together.
But now the comeback, and people seem very interested in that.
All right, we don't have a lot of time. I want to look at the top 10 news stories of the year, which is different from what we just talked about.
Exactly, exactly.
So here's Afghanistan up there pretty high. Patrick Swayze, he had the cancer. Shelley Malil was...
I had to look this one up too. He was an actor in A 40-Year-Old Virgin. He is accused of violently stabbing his girlfriend and was picked up in San Diego.
There was a big murder thing, right?
Yeah, I believe it's
manslaughter.
Yeah,
okay,
but the thing that's interesting about it is it happened late in the year, and still he's on this list.
Wow. Okay, let's look at the top 5 then. Was it with China? Okay. The pregnant man, all right. Pakistan, election 2008. Kaylee and Casey.
The Kaylee Anthony's, yeah.
All right. And what's the #1 one?
Hurricanes.
Really?
Hurricanes. And what's really interesting about hurricanes, and also what we saw in terms of the election searches, is that this was a year that people were not just looking for news stories. They weren't sort of content to sit back and wait for special reports about, what's going to happen when the hurricane's making landfall. They were tracking it on NOAA, tracking it on National Weather Service, looking for highway closures, so being proactive.
Wow. So interesting. Heather Cabot, what an interesting job.
It's really fun.
Terrific. Thank you so much. For more on Yahoo's review list, go to our Early Show website. That's earlyshow.cbsnews.com. We'll get them to Yahoo, I promise. Now here's Matt.